Surprise again. But we back. Again, another bonus episode for you guys. We sneak these in at the end of our discussions. Like we said, we usually have. We're going to continue to have this thing where we do 2 or 3 episodes for you guys of real conversation each week, and a bonus one for something fun that may be going on outside of our usual conversations. And we're here today to talk about TV, as in the spirit of March Madness, having our own bracket, but not for sports, for TV shows. Me and Alex talk about TV shows a lot, and we put all of our favorite shows into a few of our favorite shows and into a TV bracket. And we're going to be picking that for you guys and then seeing which show comes out on top. So fun things here. Appreciate all the love you guys have been showing to all of our stuff recently. This is a whole lot of red, so I might take this off.
It is.
Yeah, I'm going to take this off, actually. Real quick. While this intro, I'm going to run the intro just to take this shirt off. And we will get back to what we're doing. I have a jacket to put on instead. I don't. I'll figure it out. All right. Here, we'll get rolling in a second. Here we go.
For sure.
Okay, that's a little bit better. This works. It'll do for now. But the more important thing is this bracket, as you guys can see here. We have our favorite shows in here. Definitely some fun things. We have 14 of our favorite shows. I believe this is a couple of shows have buys up top. Game of Thrones and Succession are one season, as you guys can see there. And then beyond that, we have kind of zoom in a little bit. Brought to you by Bracket Fights. I don't know who they are, but I found them on whatever. Sure. So with the one seed with the bye, we got Game of Thrones up top on one side. We got Succession versus The Boys on another one. The Boys is one of Alex's favorite shows. I wasn't too fond of
Succession. You mean Snowfall?
Snowfall, excuse me.
Yeah.
Snowfall versus The Boys. I paired some things up more so based on the longevity of the show. If the show had a full 3-4 seasons, I put it there as compared to elsewhere. So as we go on, Atlanta and Dave has a few seasons out now. Atlanta has fully played out with I think 4 seasons or 5 seasons. The Last of Us and Squid Game to that point both have just 1 season out so far, but both were very elite seasons.
Yeah.
And then going on, Barry and You, both those are gone for a little while and are in similar lanes. In regards to the slasher / I guess the 2 Life type thing going on with both those guys there. House of Dragons, we had to include in here. We both enjoyed the heck out of that first season.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't figure out where to put it, so we put it, I guess, under the other 1 seed, which is Stranger Things. We'll see how that plays. Then the one that I guess is the most, in regards to content, is the most different between the two. Invincible and Abbott Elementary. Both Abbott Elementary has a couple seasons out now, and Invincible only has 1. But both have been elite in very different ways. So I put those there below Succession, as you see here, which is 1 seed as well. Could have threw in a few other ones. Could have threw in Curb Your Enthusiasm and things like that. We definitely could do a movie one as well, which we may come back to another day. But for now, this is it as is. I'm excited to see how this plays. So, let's go ahead and jump straight to that. So we got Game of Thrones at the 1 seed with the bye already, but on that same side we had Snowfall and The Boys. You love The Boys. I'm not a fan of The Boys.
It's not just me.
I want to like The Boys. I really do. Like I really do. Like I see what grabs folks. I see the action. I see the gore and whatever that grabs folks. But the storylines in The Boys bore me to death. Like I'm
really shocked by that.
I cannot watch this show.
I truly don't understand.
I tried. I watched 3 full seasons. Like I said after episode 1, I told Alec, like, I don't know what it is, but I don't like this show. Like it's not grabbing me. I wanted to leave it alone. He was like, you can't say it after episode 1. I was like, fine, I'll keep watching. I watched 3 seasons, and I was like, bro, like I didn't.
It doesn't hit for you, man.
The 3rd season, I didn't even want to watch. After this, I was done with the 2nd season. But Alec was like, you got to watch this, man. You let it play out. It gets better. People have been loving it. They keep on adding crazier stuff. The guys struggling.
Everyone I know I see loves it.
Struggling to the dude's butt and all this stuff. I was like, whatever, man. Like it's not grabbing me. But Snowfall on the other side, even through its own mess, because there's some stuff that had me scratching my head, I still have thoroughly enjoyed and enjoying this final season. So we have Alec's show versus my show in a way. I'm gonna try my best to be somewhat unbiased in this. Alec, how would you like to call this first round?
Yeah, I wanted to pull up just to see like what the kind of general consensus is for both. Like both Snowfall's at a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't want to hear numbers. Don't give me other people's numbers.
No, I just wanted to see because like I haven't watched Snowfall at all, so I have nothing to go on with Snowfall. I haven't watched a second of like not even a second of an episode.
Got it.
I know it's like kind of been critically acclaimed, like through the first 3 or first 4.
The first 3 were top tier. After that is good television.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's some questions about the last season, and then
Correct.
Going into it, is this last season going to be the final one or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've gotten more on track. It's been better, but
it's got 88% from the audience, so like it's got pretty high from the audience as well too. I'm fine with like The Boys is very heavily critically acclaimed as well, and from most people I talk to, they love it. So I don't know. I have nothing to go on for Snowfall, so I can't really decide. You've seen both. The Boys has been elite for most people, just not you. So I don't know.
Because it's been elite to most people, because it's been, you continue to rave about it. Snowfall has had its ups and downs. I'll go ahead and give The Boys that. I guess that's known that either way it's going to lose the Game of Thrones in my eyes. So
I think it will lose the Game of Thrones too.
I guess that's fine. So we can already skip to that there. Is it can go? We'll just do. Okay.
You got to click it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, all right. So there's that.
I'll just say with that quickly though, that Game of Thrones does have the like, which you were very on the side of the last season being horrible in some people's eyes.
Correct. But the first 5 were so elite that it just.
Yeah, I mean, first 6 really for me.
Yeah, sure. Either way, so it had enough room to fall back and still be above The Boys, in my opinion. So I put that there. So we have that already jumped ahead in that regard. But for here, we might have some more in depth. Atlanta versus Dave. I've seen the same way with Dave as The Boys. Alex said it was good. I've seen a little bit of it.
You haven't watched Dave, man. Don't even try to fake it with that.
Again, I watched like 2 episodes. And I was like,
exactly.
It's not for me. it's one of those. But Atlanta was great. Thoroughly enjoyed at least 90% of it. There are a couple episodes where I was like, what are y'all doing? But for the rest of it, they did a real good job, and I thoroughly enjoyed that final season.
Yeah.
So to me, they did a great job, which is why we have it as one of the 1 seeds there. So yeah, good stuff there. Alec, you've seen both. What do you think about both those shows, and which way do you lean?
Yeah, I love both. It's comfortably Atlanta for me because I think Atlanta is like one of the best shows that we've had in the last few years.
I put Dave in here for you, so I was trying to see where it would fit. So if that's the case,
I think Dave gets unfairly compared to Atlanta because they had similar premises in some ways, like in their first seasons, with the rapper being the focus of the story, but.
Sure.
They're not really the same. Like they're similar senses of humor, that kind of thing, and absurdities and that kind of thing. But Atlanta, I think, and it has 4 or 5 seasons of sustained success. I think all of them are great seasons. Like there's not like a down season necessarily.
Correct.
So I have to comfortably give it to Atlanta. But I love Dave. Dave season 1 was really, really good. Dave season 2 was a tonal shift that didn't resonate quite as much with me, but I still like it. So I'm excited to see where it goes in season 3, which comes out I think next month.
Got it. We watching, but if you say so. So good stuff there. Moving on to Last of Us versus Squid Game, two shows that popped up and took the world by storm. The Last of Us just wrapped up its first season, and people are already clamoring for more. People have been clamoring for more Squid Game for a while now. There's amusement parks that are dedicated to Squid Game. There's movies they're trying to think about how to do spinoffs of the show and all this kind of stuff. Squid Game really took the world by storm as well. And I loved both almost equally. Honestly, I was wrapped up in Squid Game as well. So this one very well as a toss-up. Alec, what do you think about both shows and how you want to lean in that?
Yeah, this is perfect for me because they're both super fresh. Like I just finished watching Squid Game like a week or two
Uh-huh.
ago,
Uh-huh.
and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was really intense, well written show. The only gripe I would say about it maybe is that it was like maybe I wouldn't say one too many twists because there wasn't like too many twists, but the twist at the end I didn't love with
Got it.
like the old man, you know.
Oh, being the whole manipulator of the whole thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It didn't fully compute for me, but I was like, okay, like it's interesting. Like I didn't expect it either, so
Right.
it surprised me, but I didn't love it.
Mhm.
But I did love the show in its totality. I'm excited for another season of it. The Last of Us, I thoroughly enjoyed as well. I think the finale, which we didn't talk about, I thought the finale was great. It seemed slightly divisive for some people,
Did
but
Joe make the right decision?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, come on now.
definitely Team Joel. With all they've been through,
Yeah.
all the horrible people they've passed on the way, like the people were worse than the clickers at a certain
Right.
point. So yeah, no, I was Team Joel for sure.
I guess to that point, because people did complain about the lack of the clickers.
Mhm,
If they made the clickers more involved and it seemed like it was more of a threat, I
mhm,
would say, okay, I can even understand more.
mhm.
But it didn't seem like the clickers were enough of a threat. Like each time that they were showed, yes, there were a few major moments,
Sure.
like when they almost like captured when with the dude Henry and or I forget with the
Sam, yeah, Henry
with
and Sam.
Sam when they were in that moment and all them clickers popped up. There are a few moments where it seemed intense, but outside of that, it seemed pretty manageable. And as you said, the humans were the ones that caused much more of the problems remaining. So with that being the case, F y'all. I'm gonna keep my post to myself and we're gonna ride out somewhere and be cool. I
Mhm.
didn't play the game, but I've already been seeing that mayhem is on the way. So I'm very excited for
Yeah.
part 2 and what's going to continue on with the show. So yeah, I'm very excited for both these shows to continue. So
Mhm.
with you seeing both recently, you just finished the Squid Game.
Right.
Again, how would you like to just to call it here?
I think I'll go off of your very last point was what you're excited for in part two of The Last of Us. I think my excitement level is like slightly higher for The Last of Us than Squid Game, although
Mhm.
I'm interested to see Squid Game as well.
I
What
think knowing us, like the last of us more is more of our kind of show,
Mhm.
and Squid Game was a show that was just new and just out of nowhere that
Took the
captivated
world
us.
by
But
storm, yeah.
yeah, it wasn't really something that we were expecting. So
But also too with Squid Game, like we've seen the Squid Game now. Like we've seen the whole season of like what the Squid Game is now. So like now it has to venture a little bit differently from
well,
that
from what I
storyline.
remember, they already had I think it was based on a book or something like that. There was already things planned out beyond
Uh,
the first season. So
yeah, yeah.
uh, the
Oh no,
first
not that they don't have the written material. I'm just saying like the actual story. Like we've seen what the Squid Games are. Like we saw a whole Squid Game from start to finish.
got it.
Now it's gonna be like what the main character does to like combat what they're doing with the Squid Game now.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So it's
Yeah,
still compelling in a way, but it's not the same like what's the next game gonna be kind of thing. Like we've seen the Squid Games at this point.
yeah.
So
So yeah, we
yeah.
got you, but I'm okay. I'm not mad at putting The Last of Us over
Mhm.
Squid Game, even if it's slightly. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely good stuff there. I know we jumped ahead in the other one, but we'll come back to the second round later on.
Okay.
Getting to the first round, moving on to the other side. Stranger Things and House of Dragons. To be honest, as much as I love Stranger Things,
Mhm.
the House of Dragons and Game of Thrones is our show, dude. So
It
like
is?
even with just one season, I
Yeah.
can make an argument that House of Dragons is I would put it ahead of Stranger Things. You
Huh.
say what to that?
Okay. I'm not mad at that. I like House of the Dragon a lot.
Mhm.
It had a lot to go up against with the last season of Game of Thrones being so hated.
Mhm.
And it kind of turned the tide back to Game of Thrones is best content we've ever gotten
Right,
kind of thing.
exactly.
Stranger Things in a similar way, they had a down season kind of in the middle.
Right.
But this last season was like phenomenal of
Yeah,
Stranger Things
very much
too.
so.
So um that's close, man. I hope I hope they wrap up Stranger Things in a nice bow. I think House of Dragon has added on to what we've already got from Game of Thrones like seamlessly, and it's been great additional content that we've gotten.
Right.
That's tough, man. It's tough because we only have one season of House of the Dragon. Because like Stranger Things has probably 4 really good seasons and one kind of down one.
Right.
Just what do you weigh more? Like the one really good season from House of the Dragon, or the 3 really good, 1 elite season from Stranger Things?
Again, I'll give it to Stranger Things because of longevity and what it's done and how it's progressed. But I'm just saying House of Dragon. I guess I did say I put it ahead, but I'm just saying I see the argument if others did say that. But no, I'm cool with Stranger Things being.
And actually, I'd say two elite seasons from Stranger Things, because the first season is elite of Stranger Things too.
They've been elite for a little while, so
yeah,
I'm fine with that. With them moving ahead, the 1C for a reason. I was trying to figure out where to put House of Dragon and had to fall there. We can make an argument slightly, but Stranger Things definitely is a force to reckon with. So that goes there. The one that may be the toughest, Barry versus you. What do you think about these two?
I don't think it's the toughest. Well, really? I do love you. Actually, like I don't know if you watched any of this 4th season. They split it into 2 parts. The second part has some major twists to the first part of it. And I thought the way they finished it out was really good. And it's leading into a 5th season for sure. But Barry is like one of my favorite shows ever. I think it's incredibly well written. Some of the twists and turns there, the gore of it.
I tried to guess it, but no, I agree. Barry's one of the ones.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. And like what they were able to pack into just 30-minute episodes.
Correct.
I think Barry might have a shot to make a run here, to be honest, for me.
We shall see. We'll get back to that. Moving up, the matchup that is 2 very different ends, but elite in their own ways. Invincible and Abbott Elementary. We had to figure out how to put these shows in. We're on our list and had to throw them together some kind of way, and these 2 fell where they were. Where would you lean in this regard?
I think I will lean with Invincible only because it's slightly more original. It has some similar themes of The Boys as far as anti-heroes, that kind of thing. But it's a comic style animation, which is something that a whole lot of, especially American viewers, aren't really into. Of course, there's the huge anime culture. But I think it was different in that way as far as the super gory American comic superhero anti-hero thing. Whereas Abbott Elementary, while it's funny every single episode, I'm cracking up every single episode at least one thing. Yeah. It's amazing. It is slightly derivative of like The Office and Parks and Rec. Like she's admitted that, like she's kind of taking the best things from those shows.
It's clear, yeah.
So, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think I'll slightly give the edge to Invincible with having a little bit more originality to it. So that's why I would go Invincible here. But I love Abbott Elementary too. So.
Though there is more originality to Invincible, and I'm very excited for Invincible to return. I've thoroughly enjoyed everything I've got for Abbott Elementary.
I love it.
I've enjoyed everything I've got for Invincible as well. But Abbott Elementary really grabbed me, and I really enjoyed what I've got from it, and I really want to put that into the next round.
It's out next round either way, so
it's out next round. They both either way, so it's kind of just whatever. I want to put that ahead if I can. Invincible definitely is great in its own regard. I don't know what the knock would be to it, honestly. I think it is a great thing. I say it felt like, to me, like the Boys done right. Well, that was my comparison to it, honestly. But either way, I think Abbott Elementary, I can't even say it sometimes, excuse me. I think that show really has done a great job in bringing that school to life, and carrying on the style of the ones of the past, of The Office and Parks and Rec and all of that. So and Superstore, which is underrated, should be mentioned in that too.
Superstore?
That's a good one. You have to check that out. But in that lane, those definitely are great. And Abbott Elementary definitely carries the torch grandly. So definitely salute to all of them. And they're out either way. So if you want to play Invincible, I'm fine with Invincible, but Abbott deserves his praise. So
for sure.
There we go. So There we go. I'm fine with Abbott there, but Invincible there. But as you said, Succession's 1-1, man. Like there's just nothing. You can't say nothing about that. So
Yeah.
Succession goes ahead there, and then we move back around the bracket. Game of Thrones already advanced, as we said. Atlanta versus The Last of Us. That's interesting.
It is, but I'll give Atlanta because of the longevity of the 4 or 5 seasons it's had. The Last of Us definitely has a chance to be elite of the elite television, but we've only gotten 1 elite season so far, so I would have to go Atlanta just for the longevity.
If The Last of Us had 3 seasons of this quality show, would you put it ahead of Atlanta, or is Atlanta cemented?
I think Atlanta's cemented because of how that final season ended, like how great it was. I think it was a great final season. It really tied up some ends and tied up some storylines and left some ambiguity at the end as well. The Last of Us can be top of the top with 2 more elite seasons. It can be in the discussion as well because that's incredible acting performances there as well. But they're very different shows too. Obviously, one's much more humor and one is very bleak. So yeah. I think Atlanta's got to move on there though.
Here, and we already kind of said it might be the hot take. Barry versus Stranger Things on the other side. Who you got in this one? That's tough.
I think I got Barry, man. It's been 3 perfect seasons for me. And like I said, Stranger Things had at least 1 kind of down season. They recovered very well. I love this last season of Stranger Things, but Barry could go 4 for 4. I think this is 4th season is going to be the last. If they go 4 for 4, it's up there with some of the best shows ever, man.
I'm not arguing. I'm not mad at that at all. I fully agree. I also was very wrapped up in Stranger Things too.
For sure.
So I'm more. I'm trying to find an argument for Stranger Things. That's what I'm trying to do. But the reality is, Barry is that one.
It's special, man.
I'm going with Barry.
If you haven't watched Barry, because I feel like it's well received, but not everyone has watched Barry. I would check it out. I would highly recommend Barry.
Highly worth the watch there. So now we're in the final 4, which is 3 1 seeds and a 2 seed in the mix here. Succession versus Barry. That's a fun one. They have been elite all the way through on both sides. We've been fully wrapped up in both. Both have new seasons coming out soon that we're highly anticipating. Yeah. I don't really have major flaws for either show here. Succession versus Barry. Who you got there?
Man. That's really, really tough.
That's very tough.
Because both of them, if they both have great seasons, they've gone 4 for 4.
Correct. That's tough.
I'll say Barry had more surprises to me, which really popped for me that I can remember vividly. But Succession, the writing is stellar. How it's filmed,
phenomenal,
is great. It's hilarious at times.
Had a Pusha T song on there.
The theme song is great. That might give it the slight edge.
Yeah.
Because that theme song just be stuck in my head from time to time.
Truly.
I think we need to revisit this after the seasons come out, but I'll give it to Succession for now.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Do I agree?
It's close, dude. I'm fine with Barry winning it, but
no. I'm thinking I'm good with that. I like Succession a whole lot, so that works. And on the other side, the other 1 seeds, Game of Thrones versus Atlanta. Who you got there?
I think the final season hurts Game of Thrones, where the final season helps Atlanta.
Game of Thrones had 2 very bad down seasons. I was off Game of Thrones for a little while. I wasn't even.
Yeah, you were. You're like, I go watch. Yeah, I was
even gonna watch. We see how that flipped. Leading up to, I enjoyed too much other things around Game of Thrones to leave it alone completely. As much as I tried to. But yeah. But yeah, any Game of Thrones on an individual series as a whole, it's ended very bad. Atlanta cleaned up very, very nicely.
Yeah. I know 1 through 6 for me was incredible from Game of Thrones.
Masterclass. Yeah.
I think I go Atlanta just because they tied it up in a nice bow at the end there.
I think this again is, I forgot where else I said it, but I think maybe kind of like with The Boys. I think because of how far ahead Game of Thrones pushed itself with those first 5 seasons, that even in falling at the end, I still like it falls from a 100 show to a 95,
96, something like that. Yeah,
where Atlanta's peak is at like a 96.
That's
so
fair.
I say Game of Thrones, but if you want to put Atlanta ahead,
yeah, I mean Game of Thrones had for me 6 elite seasons.
Yeah.
And Atlanta had 4. So yeah, I mean I'm fine with Game of Thrones. Moving on there. Very different shows too. That's what makes it hard, but
yeah. I also think I'm kind of accounting House of Dragons into Game of Thrones, which shouldn't count.
No, no, it doesn't count.
Because it is a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'm gonna give Atlanta the nod.
Okay.
And now it's tough again.
Very, very.
Atlanta versus Succession. My first gut reaction is to say Succession.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because I've been rewatching a little bit as preparing for the new season.
Mm-hmm.
But Atlanta was fantastic also.
Yeah. Another point to me for Atlanta too is it was a jumping off point for a lot of these actors in the show. Like the guy who plays Paperboy has been a ton of other roles since. Lakeith Stanfield, a ton of other roles since
Donnie's
then.
been that boy for a minute now.
Yeah, Zazie Beetz too. Yeah,
special.
Succession for me has a chance to be perfect though with a good 4th final season.
Correct.
I don't know that I could say that for Atlanta because of, like you said, there are those episodes in there where it's like, what are y'all doing? Maybe this is a heat check for Donald Glover, like trying to be a little bit too artsy, a little bit too pretentious.
Paired up against somewhere else, they could have been upset a few times. If they had been put in another side of the bracket, it's very possible.
Yeah,
but they got the luck of the draw over here because of the lack of longevity from these shows. So it is what it is. But
I think I got a lean Succession.
I do too.
Slightly.
I do too. Succession's that one, man. Succession's that one. Like there's just
it is what it is, man. It may not hit for everyone, like the whole corporate show and that kind of thing, but man, the writing's phenomenal, the acting's great, the camera work's great.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
It checks all the boxes.
Shakespearean at times.
It checks all the boxes without feeling forced. There's some shows where like you clearly just trying to check some boxes off to satisfy fans. This show feels like it's just they're just doing things the right way and it's working out as it's supposed to. So yeah, I'm thoroughly excited for the next season.
Yeah,
I love what they've been doing and continue to do. Though they don't necessarily have the spin-offs or the characters developing themselves beyond the show. The show is as great as is. That it doesn't even really. I don't really care what they even do beyond it. Like I just want more of the show itself. So great things there.
Shiv is special, by the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. Atlanta is absolutely phenomenal as well. But they did have some times with some head scratchers in there. Maybe it's because we didn't understand the art or whatever the case may have been, but it's enough to favor Succession over it in this regard. So I'm cool with this as is.
Yeah, it was a good bracket. There's probably some other shows we could have included.
I was gonna say there were shows we definitely missed on. We could have thrown in there. as we said, Curbed and other shows like that. The Office, you want to go a little bit further back. Ozark should have been on here, and that was a mistake. I think, for example, I'll go this far. If we swapped out Ozark for In This Side, Ozark beats out Atlantis to me.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Yeah.
I think Ozark gets ahead of Atlanta, and I guess I blanked on that. I forgot until after the fact or the text when you said it. But Ozark for sure.
Ozark's up there. That might be my favorite Netflix show.
Would have made a run, and what other shows you think could upset this bracket some kind of way?
I think Curb could have a run as well too. For me, it's still going too.
More recent shows. Curb
is still going too.
Well, that is true. It's still going.
Yeah.
And Curb would win for me personally.
I
love that show a whole lot.
Curb's hilarious, man.
It gets a laugh out of me that no other show gets out. I don't know what it is, but that show is hilarious.
To that point, too, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if you watched that.
I haven't gotten through it fully. I have started watching it because I heard and I got wrapped up in it. I do enjoy it. I have gotten through some of it, but I haven't finished it enough to rank it nowhere.
And then The Usual Suspects, like Breaking Bad. I don't know if you've watched it, but that would be on here.
I did.
I haven't watched The Wire or Sopranos, but that would normally be in a prestige.
I'm rewatching The Sopranos right now, special television.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, for now, this bracket has the shows on it that it has. I think it's still a good group as we have it, and with how we have it set. I am fine with how it has played out. We'll be back next week. Our bonus episode will be a movie version of this. We'll have our movie ones on here. We've been watching a lot of movies recently. We'll have some newer ones. We'll have some of our older favorite ones in the mix. I'm excited to see how that plays out. We'll try our best to more accurately rank, I guess, those shows next time. But for now, this is a good first run, and we appreciate y'all for tuning into it. Again, let us know your comments on the show, on what we have here. Let us know what shows you would have in that we didn't mention. Let us know what movies you want us to mention for our movie one next week, and excited to continue it all. Those are the bonus episodes for you guys. As we said, for our real episodes, continue to follow March Madness, continue to follow the NFL offseason, continuing to follow the NBA playoffs. And we mentioned sneak in some MLB content with the season getting underway as well there too. So a lot of good stuff on the way for you guys. Appreciate all the love you guys have been showing us. Continue to blow up our YouTube page. Like, review, subscribe, all that good stuff for us there. And across all of our platforms you see below. And appreciate y'all for the love, man. We'll be back. I'm excited to keep this thing rolling. Thank y'all, man. Appreciate it. Peace.
Deuces.